What's up YouTube, Dougie Chong here. Welcome to today's episode where I'll be reviewing AMD Stock. So AMD is a company that is very similar to Nvidia in that they both make graphics cards. I'll leave a link in the description to a video where I review Nvidia stock. And before I start the video, please remember to give this video a like, it really helps my channel grow. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. We're at 250 subscribers now, so I just want to thank all my subscribers that have subscribed already, and especially a big thank you to Tristan, our 250th subscriber. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to go over the business model of AMD. Then I'm going to look over some of the numbers, including the stock price. And last but not least, I'm going to go over if AMD is a buy in my opinion. Also, I want to mention that the stock market is finally starting to cool off. I've been calling for this dip for a little over like a month now. It looks like reality is finally starting to catch up to the stock market. No more waking up to 10% gains in the market. That was pretty ridiculous. Alright, so AMD stands for Advanced Micro Devices, and they are a semiconductor company founded in 1969 in Sunnyvale, California. I was fairly surprised that AMD was founded well before Nvidia, which was founded in 1993, considering that Nvidia has a market cap almost 4 times as big as AMD. Don't be fooled into thinking that AMD was making graphics cards all this time though. They started off with very simple circuits and then CPUs, and they did not start making graphics cards until around 2009 when they acquired the company ATI. Sorry, it was actually 2006, not 2009. And this is the main differentiating factor between AMD and Nvidia. AMD makes central processing units, or CPU for short, as well as graphical processing units, or GPU for short, whereas Nvidia only makes GPUs. For those of you that do not know the difference, a GPU is designed to do a lot of simple tasks in parallel, while a CPU is able to do more varied tasks very quickly. Think of a CPU as the CEO of a company that has to make various decisions to make the company work. And then the GPU would be the factories that do all the repetitive tasks of manufacturing the products. The company has had 5 different CEOs in its existence, and typically having CEO turnaround is not a good thing for the company. But the current CEO, Lisa Su, has been around for a relatively long time, since 2014, and has done a pretty good job in my opinion. For a very long time, AMD graphics cards were seen as second-tier options to Nvidia, but there's a lot of hope that the newest architecture of Navi will surpass Nvidia. Now let's look at some of the numbers for AMD stock. The 6-month stock chart doesn't really look like it has done all that much. It goes from about 40 to 50 range, up and down, doesn't really make too many big upward or downward moves. But in general, it did trend upwards in this time frame. Zoom back 1 year and it's up from about $31 to $53, representing about a 66% gain. But the true gain of this stock can be seen if you zoom back to the 5-year chart, where it goes from about $2.50 to about $53 today. That represents about a 2,000% gain, which is pretty ridiculous for a 5-year time frame. That even beats their main competitor Nvidia's gain in that same 5-year time frame. This huge price increase came from 2 main spurts. One in 2017, when the stock went from about $2 to around $10, and then in 2018, when it went from about $10 all the way to $30 and eventually hitting $50 today. Of course, past price movement does not dictate the future. So the question is, can AMD continue to go up today? So the main question is, what made the stock price go up so much in the first place? I believe that both price increases came from the release of the new Ryzen series CPUs. The initial buzz in 2017 was for when the first generation of Ryzen CPUs were released. Just having a competitor in the CPU space was huge because Intel was pretty much the monopoly for building CPUs. And then the second price increase came from the 2nd and 3rd generation of Ryzen CPUs, which pretty much trounced Intel's CPUs in every category. A company as big as Intel really should have seen AMD coming when they made their first processors, but they really dropped the ball and allowed AMD to come up and grab valuable market share. And the other thing to consider is that gamers in general tend to have a lot of brand loyalty. So a gamer that currently uses an AMD graphics card will typically upgrade to another AMD graphics card. And so the market share that they pried away from Intel is even that much more valuable. The success of Ryzen could have also been from these diehard fans that simply wanted a CPU that matched their GPU. We'll never know for sure. The PE ratio for AMD is 127, which is nearly double Nvidia's PE ratio. That means it has baked in a tremendous amount of growth. But with a market cap of only around $62 billion, it has room to grow, competing with other heavyweights such as Nvidia and Intel, which both have market caps north of $200 billion. And if we look at the balance sheet for AMD, it's actually eerily similar to Nvidia's. The numbers may not match, but they have about $6 billion in assets and only about $3.2 billion in liabilities, so they have about twice as many assets as liabilities, which is pretty similar to what Nvidia had. So in my opinion, is AMD stock a buy? I'm actually leaning towards yes for this stock. It's actually been a while since I've recommended a stock as a buy, so this kind of feels good, and I'm thinking of opening up a small position. Hopefully the market opens up a bit down on Monday. I still think the market can drop a bit more. But I already explained that when it comes to CPUs, AMD already has a superior product to Intel, at least at the consumer level. When it comes to enterprise products, companies still tend to use Intel. And enterprise grade hardware typically has higher profit margins than consumer level hardware. The main thing I think that will ultimately cause the stock to go up or down is if their new Navi GPUs can compete with Nvidia's RTX line. Reports say that they will be competitive this time around, but they said that about the RX Vega 64 cards, and I actually did own that card before and it was a big letdown. The other reason why it is a buy for me is that I already own some Nvidia shares. So if AMD happens to make a better graphics card than Nvidia, I'm hedging my bets. In either situation, I will come out on top. And as I mentioned earlier, there will still be diehard fans that will buy either brand if the specs are relatively close. I know that I did not go into any technical details in this video. I implore you to do your own research, but this is just my opinion on AMD stock. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you learned a lot about AMD stock. Please remember to hit that like button if this video helped you at all, and subscribe if you have not already. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you in the next video.